Let us begin with the first and most unsettling truth Carl Jung left us about women, one that most men never even dare to confront. He spoke of the Anima, the hidden feminine force that lives inside every man's unconscious mind. This Anima is not the real woman standing in front of you, nor is it the truth of who women are. Instead, it is your own shadow projection, a bundle of desires, fears, and fantasies that you unconsciously cast upon women. And this is where the danger lies, because when a man does not understand this, he is not seeing the woman as she truly is. He is seeing only himself reflected back through her. Think about the first time you felt irresistibly drawn to a woman. Your heart raced, your mind filled in the blanks, and before you even knew her, you had already painted a story of who she must be. That feeling of, she's the one, was not necessarily about her. It was your Anima wrapping her image in your own longing. Jung warned that without awareness, men fall not in love with women, but in love with their own projections. You chase what you think she represents, not who she really is. And this is why so many men end up heartbroken, betrayed, or confused. Because they were never in a relationship with the woman herself. They were in a relationship with their shadow. This is a dark truth because it means most men are blind. They live in a dream, worshipping illusions, attaching themselves to qualities they themselves have not cultivated. The Anima seduces a man into believing he has found wholeness outside himself. She whispers, she completes you, and like a moth drawn to flame, he burns in pursuit of what is already inside him. The woman, real and imperfect, cannot carry the weight of this illusion. She inevitably fails to live up to the goddess a man has imagined. And when this illusion collapses, many men fall into resentment, bitterness, and even hatred toward women, not realizing they were betrayed by their own unconscious. The wise man sees through this. He understands that when he looks at a woman and feels a powerful surge of emotion, he must ask, is this truly her, or is this my Anima speaking? He understands that the more he ignores his inner feminine, the more violently it will project onto the women he desires. The man who cannot control this will forever chase phantoms, always feeling as if he is missing something, always dependent on external validation. And yet, the man who faces it, who dares to confront his Anima, discovers something extraordinary. He learns to separate reality from fantasy. He learns to look at a woman and see her, not his own shadow, but her as she is, flawed, human, individual. This is not a comfortable realization, because it strips away the romantic illusions that society feeds us. You are told that love is magical, that the right woman will heal you, complete you, make you whole. But Jung's dark truth is that this is a dangerous lie. No woman can complete you, because what you are missing is not outside of you, it is within. Until you face your Anima, you will always confuse women for your salvation. You will seek in them what you refuse to integrate in yourself. Tenderness, creativity, intuition, or emotional depth. You will demand from women what you have abandoned within your own soul. And in doing so, you will remain a prisoner to your projections. But imagine the man who no longer falls for this trap. Imagine the man who masters his Anima. He no longer clings to women in desperation, nor does he resent them when they fail to fulfill his fantasies. He walks among them with clarity. He appreciates them for who they are, not for what he imagines they can give him. He does not chase, he does not beg, and he does not worship illusions. Instead, he stands firm in himself, and women can sense it. They sense he is not projecting, not clinging, but seeing them as they are. This makes him rare, and it makes him powerful. This truth is dark, yes, but it is also liberating. For when you realize that what you desire in women is often your own shadow calling to you, you stop being enslaved by your fantasies. You start to ask, what am I seeking in her that I have denied in myself? And when you answer that question honestly, you begin to reclaim your own lost pieces. Then, and only then, can you relate to women not as mirrors of your unconscious, but as companions on your path. The Anima no longer rules you. You rule it. And in that mastery, you free yourself from illusions that destroy weaker men. A man must understand something that most will never admit, something that Jung revealed with brutal clarity. Women do not simply enter your life as neutral beings. They are not blank canvases. They are mirrors. When you stand before a woman, she reflects back to you parts of yourself you would rather not confront. This is why encounters with women can be so intoxicating, so maddening, so destabilizing. They awaken in you the very things you hide, the wounds you bury, the insecurities you try to deny. And if you are blind to this, you will blame her for what is in truth your own shadow being shown to you. Think about how a woman has made you feel before, how quickly you can swing from passion to frustration, from obsession to resentment. One moment she feels like heaven, the next like hell. Why does this happen? Because she reflects you. She brings to the surface those hidden forces inside you that you have not yet mastered. If you are insecure, she will amplify it. If you crave validation, she will expose it. If you lack self-control, she will test it. And in doing so, she reveals the cracks in your armor. This is why Jung called women mirrors of the male psyche. They do not create your weaknesses, they reveal them. And when a man does not understand this, he makes the fatal mistake of blaming the woman, instead of confronting his own reflection. A woman's presence is not passive, it is catalytic. She draws out of you what you cannot hide. The man who is hollow inside will find himself desperately clinging to her. The man who is arrogant will feel challenged and threatened. The man who is afraid of intimacy will feel suffocated by her closeness. In each case, she has not created the problem. She has only illuminated it. This is why relationships are such volatile arenas. They are psychological battlefields where men are forced to face themselves, whether they want to or not. Most men run from this truth. They point fingers, they blame, they accuse, they say, "She changed, she betrayed, she deceived." But the wise man knows what she awakened was already within him. This mirror effect can destroy a man who is unprepared. It can trap him in cycles of obsession and bitterness. He will seek in women the solution to his emptiness, only to find that they magnify it. He will expect them to soothe his insecurities, only to discover they intensify them. And because he does not recognize the mirror, he becomes angry at the reflection. He lashes out, he withdraws, he despairs. Jung's warning was clear: women can be the most dangerous mirrors because the reflection they offer is not always flattering. It is raw, unfiltered, and impossible to escape. When you fall under their spell without awareness, you are not engaging with them as they are. You are confronting the unhealed pieces of yourself. But understand this: the mirror can also be a gift. The man who recognizes it uses it as a weapon of growth. Instead of being offended by what she reflects, he studies it. If she makes him feel insecure, he asks why. If she awakens jealousy, he digs into the wound that fuels it. If she exposes his dependency, he strengthens himself where he is weak. In this way, a woman becomes not a threat, but an ally. Unwitting perhaps, but invaluable. She shows him where he must sharpen his character, where he must discipline his mind, where he must expand his strength. The difference lies only in whether he is conscious or unconscious. The unconscious man blames the mirror. The conscious man thanks it. To see women in this way is to strip away illusions. You stop demanding they be your salvation. You stop blaming them for your pain. Instead, you see clearly they are catalysts, forces that awaken you to yourself. And once you understand this, you no longer collapse under their power. You no longer spiral into obsession when they reject you, nor into rage when they test you. Instead, you see each reaction within yourself as information. You learn, you grow, you sharpen. And in this process, you rise above the ordinary man who remains enslaved to his projections. There is something liberating in this perspective. Because once you see the mirror, you cannot be deceived by it. When a woman reflects back to you your neediness, you no longer chase her approval. You build your own strength. When she reflects your arrogance, you temper it with humility. When she reflects your fear, you confront it directly. She becomes a tool, even if she does not know it, and through her, you forge yourself into something greater. The weak man crumbles before the mirror. The strong man refines himself through it. This is the dark truth Jung left us. Women will always reflect the man standing before them. They reveal not who they are, but who you are. And if you cannot face that reflection, you will always misjudge them, always blame them, always remain a prisoner of your own shadow. But if you can face it, if you can endure what the mirror shows, then no reflection can ever enslave you again. When Jung spoke of women, he did not speak of them only as individuals. He spoke of them as archetypes, patterns of energy that exist in the collective unconscious, roles so ancient and powerful that they shape how men experience women, whether they realize it or not. These archetypes are not merely symbolic, they are living forces. They are the filters through which men perceive and respond to women. And when a man does not understand them, he is moved like a pawn on a board, reacting blindly, unaware of the deeper forces pulling his strings. Consider how a man responds differently to the nurturing presence of a woman who embodies the mother archetype, compared to the seductive pull of the lover or the destructive magnetism of the witch. Each archetype evokes a unique reaction. One calms, one intoxicates, one terrifies, and yet all of them are faces of the same truth, that a man does not see women as they are, but as archetypes that stir ancient instincts within him. When you meet a woman, you think you are meeting her, but in reality, you are meeting the archetype your mind attaches to her image. The mother is one of the most powerful. She represents care, safety, and unconditional love. Many men, unconsciously wounded from childhood, seek this archetype in women. They crave a partner who will soothe, comfort, and heal them. But this craving makes them weak, for they no longer seek a woman as an equal. They seek her as a replacement for their unresolved needs. And women, sensing this, may exploit it. She becomes not a partner, but a caretaker, and the man grows dependent. He mistakes her mothering for love, while in truth he is merely surrendering his power. Then there is the seductress, the lover archetype. She embodies passion, beauty, desire. She intoxicates men with her presence. But this archetype is dangerous, for it blinds reason. Men under its spell abandon logic, sacrifice principles, and betray their own integrity in pursuit of her. Wars have been fought for such women, kingdoms lost, fortunes wasted. She is not evil, but she is power. And the man who does not recognize the archetype will fall into her orbit, mistaking lust for destiny. Jung warned that the lover's power lies in her ability to awaken a man's anima, to make him believe he has found completion, when in fact he has merely been captured by the oldest archetype of all, desire itself. And then there is the witch, the dark feminine. She is not nurturing like the mother, nor enchanting like the lover. She is destructive, chaotic, merciless. She awakens fear, rage, and confusion in men. This archetype appears when a man feels betrayed, when he experiences the shadow side of femininity. The witch is not literal sorcery. She is the archetype of manipulation, of emotional power wielded with cruelty. And men, when confronted with her, either collapse in despair or become hardened. Those who learn from her presence gain strength, for they come to understand the darker dimensions of human nature. Those who remain blind to her archetype are forever scarred, blaming women instead of recognizing the deeper force at work. Beyond these, Jung spoke also of the muse, the inspirer. She is the woman who awakens in a man a vision of greatness, who stirs his creativity, his ambition, his hunger to transcend himself. Many of history's great men were driven by this archetype, seeking to impress or honor a woman who embodied it. But even here, the danger lies in projection. For if a man becomes addicted to the muse, he may mistake external validation for internal purpose. He may depend on her inspiration instead of creating from his own inner fire. These archetypes are not mere categories, they are powers, and every man will encounter them, whether he acknowledges them or not. They are not bound to any one woman, for the same woman may carry different archetypes in different moments. A man's perception shifts based on his own unconscious state. If he is needy, he will see her as the mother. If he is lustful, he will see her as the lover. If he is wounded, he may see her as the witch. These archetypes live not only in women, but in the man's own psyche. Women activate them, but it is the man who interprets and reacts to the force. The danger comes when a man fails to recognize the archetype at play. He becomes ensnared, believing his feelings are personal, unique, fated, when in truth they are ancient patterns repeating themselves. He believes the woman herself is the source of his obsession, when in reality, She has only awakened an archetype that has lived inside him long before she appeared. The wise man sees the archetype for what it is. He understands its power, but he does not confuse it with reality. He can feel desire without being consumed, accept comfort without dependency, learn from betrayal without falling into hatred. To master these forces is to break free from unconscious control. A man who knows the archetypes is not easily manipulated, not easily broken, not easily enslaved by passion or fear. He can enjoy the warmth of the mother without becoming a child. He can experience the fire of the lover without burning his empire down. He can endure the witch without collapsing. He can draw inspiration from the muse without surrendering his soul. He does not deny the archetypes, he acknowledges them, but he refuses to be ruled by them. This is the dark truth. Women are not just women. They are embodiments of archetypes that stir the deepest parts of the male psyche. To see them clearly, you must first see the forces moving within yourself. Only then can you face them with strength, without illusion, and without surrender. What destroys most men is not women themselves, but their own blindness to the forces within that pull them toward women without restraint. Jung called this the danger of unconscious attraction, the compulsion to pursue, to desire, to obsess without ever asking why. A man who does not understand this is not choosing women, he is being chosen by his shadow. He is not acting with clarity, he is being driven by instincts that he mistakes for love, for fate, for destiny. But in truth, he is only enslaved by impulses that strip him of control. Think about the feeling of being drawn to someone you hardly know. Your chest tightens, your mind races, your imagination fills in every gap with fantasy. You begin to project onto her everything you desire, but lack within yourself. You see her as the answer to your emptiness, the one who will bring meaning to your restless soul. But this is not love, and it is not truth. It is unconscious attraction, your anima at work, pulling you into a trap that feels irresistible. And the darker truth is this: the more unaware you are of your inner world, the stronger this compulsion becomes. You are not choosing her. You are chasing a ghost born from your own unconscious needs. This is why men chase women who destroy them. This is why they return to women who wound them. This is why they confuse obsession with passion, addiction with love. The force is not rational, it bypasses reason entirely. And once a man is under its spell, he will sacrifice anything, his dignity, his values, even his future, to remain near the woman he believes he cannot live without. Jung warned that this was one of the most dangerous traps of the psyche, to confuse compulsion with choice, to mistake the pull of the unconscious for free will. A man under this spell becomes predictable. He becomes weak. He abandons his mission, his strength, his clarity, in pursuit of someone who may not even see him. He wastes years locked in cycles of desire and disappointment, chasing approval, begging for attention, trying to win what cannot be won. And all the while, he believes it is about her, when in truth it is about him. It is his shadow demanding to be recognized, his anima screaming for integration. The woman is merely the trigger, the surface upon which his unconscious plays out its game. But he does not see this, and so he suffers. The wise man learns to slow this process. He notices the intensity of his desire and asks, why this woman? Why this pull? Why this urgency? He does not surrender blindly to the fire burning inside him. He studies it. He knows that attraction is not always truth, that chemistry is not always destiny. He understands that the body can hunger for what the soul does not need. And because of this awareness, he is not enslaved. He chooses deliberately, not compulsively. He knows the difference between admiration and obsession, between appreciation and dependency. He can feel desire without being consumed by it. Unconscious attraction is dangerous because it often feels like the most powerful, undeniable force in the world. It feels like gravity itself. And yet, once recognized, its power dissolves. The moment you name it for what it is, a projection, a compulsion, a shadow, you strip it of its control over you. Then you can step back, see the woman clearly, without illusion. You see not the goddess your anima created, but the human being standing before you. You see not your savior, but simply another soul. And in that clarity, you are free to decide, do I truly want her, Or am I merely chasing a reflection of my own hunger? Most men never reach this level of awareness. They spend their lives pulled from one unconscious attraction to another, always restless, always searching, always mistaking intensity for meaning. And so they remain enslaved, blaming women, blaming fate, blaming anyone but themselves. But the truth is simple: it was never the woman who controlled them. It was their own shadow, disguised as desire. The man who learns to master this truth becomes rare. He is not swayed by beauty alone, not trapped by charm, not seduced by every spark of chemistry. He can admire without falling, desire without chasing, love without losing himself. And women can sense it. They sense he is different. He does not cling. He does not beg. He does not confuse obsession for love. He is not owned by his unconscious. Instead, he chooses with clarity, and that makes his presence unshakable. There comes a moment when a man must confront the final truth Jung revealed, the truth that ties all the others together. Every projection, every illusion, every destructive attraction points back to one thing: the anima within you. That inner feminine, unacknowledged and denied, is the real source of your confusion with women. And Jung warned that unless a man learns to integrate it, he will forever remain a slave to his unconscious. He will chase in women what he has not embraced within himself. He will beg them for the tenderness, the creativity, the intuition he lacks. He will demand from them the emotional depth he fears to develop in his own soul. He will make women carry the burden of completing him, when in truth no one but he can complete himself. Integration does not mean becoming less of a man. It means becoming whole. It means understanding that the anima is not an enemy to suppress, nor a weakness to be ashamed of, but a vital force that must be mastered and brought into balance. Too many men run from this. They fear softness, they deny vulnerability, they bury their emotions, thinking it makes them strong. But all it does is give more power to the anima. What you repress only grows stronger in the shadows, and when it finally bursts forth, it comes out twisted, projected onto women, disguised as obsession or dependency. The man who refuses his inner feminine becomes the man most controlled by it. But the man who dares to face it, who dares to bring light into his own darkness, becomes free. He begins to integrate those qualities instead of outsourcing them. He learns to comfort himself, instead of needing a woman to mother him. He learns to embrace his own intuition, instead of waiting for a woman to guide him. He learns to access his own emotional depth, instead of demanding that women provide it for him. In this way, he becomes whole, no longer split between the man he pretends to be and the parts of himself he hides. He no longer looks at women as his salvation, because he has already found within himself what he once searched for outside. This is why Jung said individuation, the process of becoming whole, is the highest task of man. It is not enough to conquer the world, to build empires, to achieve status, if inside you remain divided and incomplete. Without integration, you are forever restless, forever grasping, forever chasing the phantom of wholeness in the arms of women who cannot give it to you. But when you integrate your anima, when you balance the inner masculine with the inner feminine, you become grounded, unshakable. You no longer cling to women out of desperation. You no longer project illusions onto them. You no longer fall into the trap of unconscious attraction. Instead, you stand complete, and from this completeness, you can choose freely, rather than compulsively. The man who has mastered this balance is different. He moves through the world with calm authority. He does not need to dominate women, nor does he need to submit to them. He relates to them as equals, as individuals, because he no longer sees them as pieces of himself he has lost. He no longer asks them to carry his wounds, to fulfill his fantasies, or to heal his emptiness. He is already healed, already whole. And because of this, women feel his presence as steady, solid, trustworthy. He does not wobble between obsession and rejection, between adoration and resentment. He is consistent because he is complete. And do not think this makes him soft. On the contrary, it makes him powerful. For the man who has faced his anima has faced his deepest shadows. He has endured the illusions, the temptations, the compulsions, and come out stronger. He is not afraid of his emotions, he controls them. He is not afraid of intimacy, He chooses it on his own terms. He is not afraid of being alone. He is already whole within himself. This kind of man cannot be manipulated by archetypes, cannot be destroyed by projection, cannot be enslaved by unconscious attraction. He is free. Most men will never reach this point because it requires courage to turn inward. It is easier to blame women, easier to complain about betrayal, easier to chase endlessly than to confront the uncomfortable truth. The enemy is within. But those who do confront it, those who integrate their anima, discover a strength most men will never know. They discover that wholeness is not given by another. It is claimed by oneself. And when a man claims it, he rises above the illusions that bind weaker men. This is the final dark truth Jung left us. No woman will ever complete you. Until you integrate your inner feminine, you will always remain divided. You cannot understand Jung's dark truths without also understanding the final layer of his insight. Power in relationships is never about who loves more or who gives more, but about who is more conscious. The unconscious man is always at the mercy of forces he does not see, while the conscious man moves with clarity, unaffected by illusions. This is why so many men lose themselves in relationships. They walk into them blind, driven by need, driven by projection, driven by the anima they refuse to face. And so, without realizing it, they hand over their power. They believe the woman holds control, when in truth, she is only playing with what he himself has abandoned his awareness. The truth is simple, though bitter. A woman cannot truly control a man who sees her clearly. She can influence him, inspire him, even tempt him. But she cannot dominate him if he refuses to be blind. The problem is that most men are not clear. They are entangled in their own shadows. They mistake attraction for destiny, beauty for goodness, nurturing for love, and manipulation for strength. In this fog, they give away their authority without even noticing. They adapt themselves to her moods. They bend under her expectations. They chase her validation, believing that in doing so, they will secure her loyalty. But loyalty is never won through submission. It is won through strength, through presence, through the unshakable clarity of a man who knows himself. Jung warned that when a man has not integrated his unconscious, he is doomed to be controlled by it through others. Women become the vessel for this control because they so easily awaken the anima, stirring emotions he does not understand. And when a man does not understand his emotions, he cannot master them. He reacts instead of chooses. He clings when he should let go. He rages when he should remain calm. He obeys when he should stand firm. This reactionary state is weakness, and weakness always shifts the balance of power. A man who cannot master himself will always find himself mastered by others. But consider the man who has done the inner work, who has faced his anima and integrated it, who no longer projects illusions onto women. He enters relationships differently. He does not see women as saviors, nor as enemies, nor as puzzles to solve. He sees them as they are, and in doing so, he cannot be manipulated by the archetypes that ensnare lesser men. He is not seduced into dependency by the mother, not intoxicated blindly by the lover, not broken by the witch, not addicted to the muse. He recognizes these forces, but he remains in control of himself. And this self-control is the highest power a man can hold. Because of this, he does not need to dominate women. He does not need to control them through fear or force. His power comes from the fact that he cannot be controlled. This creates a presence women feel immediately. They sense that his emotions are not easily swayed, that his attention cannot be cheaply bought, that his loyalty is not desperate but deliberate. He does not chase and he does not beg, because he does not need. And paradoxically, this makes women more drawn to him. For nothing is more magnetic than a man who is whole within himself. The unconscious man, however, will always envy this strength. He will accuse such men of being cold, detached, unfeeling. But this is not detachment. It is mastery. To feel deeply yet not be enslaved by feeling. To desire yet not be consumed by desire. To love yet not lose oneself in love. That is the balance Jung pointed toward. It is not about avoiding women, nor about surrendering to them, but about engaging with them as a conscious man rather than a blind one. And here lies the final warning. Relationships are arenas of power whether you acknowledge it or not. If you are unconscious, the power will never be yours. If you are conscious, you hold it effortlessly. Power does not mean cruelty, nor domination. It means freedom. It means you are free to choose, free to walk away, free to stay, free to give without needing, free to love without losing yourself. This freedom is what women respect, what they test for, what they secretly crave. For no woman truly desires a man she can completely control. She desires a man who cannot be broken, who remains himself no matter what force she exerts. This is the culmination of Jung's truth. A man who has integrated himself cannot be enslaved by women, because he cannot be enslaved by his own unconscious. He has taken back the authority he once projected outward. He no longer confuses his shadow for destiny. He no longer begs women to complete him. He no longer collapses under the weight of archetypes. He stands as a whole man, and because of that, he holds the quiet, unshakable power that no one can take from him. The man who achieves this does not seek power over women. He already possesses power over himself, and that is enough.